and welcome to Get to Know Connecticut's MEP webinar. And we're going to go ahead and start off with an introduction video from Beatriz Gutierrez.
Hello, this is Beatriz Gutierrez, President and CEO of CONNSTEP, Connecticut's MEP. Thank you very much for joining us today to learn more about CONNSTEP, your Connecticut MEP webinar. We are the official representative of the MEP program in Connecticut. This is a federal program under the U.S. Department of Commerce, National Institute of Science and Technology, NIST. And what we do is we have one of these centers in each state. And our focus is to strengthen and grow manufacturing in the United States. And as a result of that, we help grow the economy and help strengthen our defense systems and protect our country. So I'm very excited you're here. And what we do in CONNSTEP is we are a consulting manufacturing firm. We have been your MEP for 25 years, and we spent a lot of time working with small companies in our state, bringing tools of productivity, cybersecurity, innovation, technology, workforce, and most of all, being your trusted advisor. We come to you as a resource to help you learn what's available in the state and at a federal level, and then what technical capabilities can we bring to the table. And you'll be learning all the details about this later. You'll hear from some of our staff members and a lot of our team, we call it CONNSTEPers, that are going to be engaging directly with you through this webinar, but then that they're looking forward to stopping at your companies and being able to help you on the ground to solve those problems that keep you up at night. So with that, thank you very much for your time. I'm looking forward to your questions and to hear more about you, and enjoy the webinar.
Hey, that was Beatriz Gutierrez, CONNSTEP President and CEO. And now we'll go ahead to another introduction video to get to know a little bit more about CONNSTEP.
For over 25 years, CONNSTEP has been the trusted partner for small to medium-sized Connecticut manufacturers, boosting productivity, profitability, and competitiveness. Our expert team with decades of manufacturing experience understands the challenges faced by manufacturers today. Starting with a personalized discovery meeting, we tailor strategic solutions to bridge the gap between your current state and future vision. From C-level executives to the shop floor, CONNSTEP provides customized consulting and training solutions in supply chain management, technology adoption, workforce development, business growth, continuous improvement, cybersecurity, human resources, environmental health and safety, and more. In addition, CONNSTEP is part of a national network of manufacturing extension partnership, MEP centers, all with the mission to help domestic manufacturers thrive. Supported by the Connecticut Office of Manufacturing and partially funded by the U.S. Department of Commerce and the state of Connecticut, we bring you the strength and resources of a nationwide network. Don't just take our word for it. See what CONNSTEP clients are saying. Let CONNSTEP be the catalyst for taking your business to the next level. Contact us today and let's drive growth and success together. CONNSTEP, your trusted advisor for manufacturing excellence.
All right, and with that, I will turn it over to Bernice.
Hi there, everybody. Welcome. I'm Bernice Zampano. I work for CONNSTEP as the Strategic Relationship Manager, and I'm going to be here to explain what the Manufacturing Extension Partnership means. Really, it's part of the Commerce Department National Institute of Standards and Technologies, and the National Program Office provides us federal funding for the MEP National Network, and it is based in Maryland. For more than 35 years, we have been part of that, and one of the 51 centers throughout the nation. Can we go to the next slide, please? Next slide, please. So as I mentioned, 51 MEP centers that have service locations in over 460 places. We have 1,440 trusted advisors throughout the country. And one of the MEP's mission is to enhance productivity and performance with U.S. manufacturing. And that is and we use each other often for work and collaborate with our network within the MEP system. Next slide, please. Some of the impacts for 2023 are, as you can see here, increase in sales in the billions, new client investments, as well as cost savings also in the billions, and created and retained jobs. So that's some of the things that we work on as the Connecticut MEP as well. Next slide, please. So one of the benefits of working with an MEP is the national reach, but we also have the local impact of working with CONNSTEP directly. We have deep industry expertise as well as, customized support, again, on the local level and even on an individual level with our companies. We have the proven ROIs and we can work with you on basically any solution that you need for your company. Next slide, please.
CONNSTEP is an acronym for Connecticut State Technology Extension Program. CONNSTEP's origins and name date back to 1994, when the University of Connecticut School of Business administered Connecticut's State Technology Extension Program, STEP. CONNSTEP is a private, nonprofit organization governed by a manufacturing industry-driven board of directors. CONNSTEP is an acronym for Connecticut State Technology Extension Program. CONNSTEP's origins and name date back to 1994, when the University of Connecticut School of Business administered Connecticut's State Technology Extension Program, STEP. CONNSTEP is a private, nonprofit organization governed by a manufacturing industry-driven board of directors.
We can go to next slide.
Yeah, it looks like there's an issue with that video. I'll drop that link in the chat for you all to watch at a later time.
Thank you. Thanks, Lauren. Sorry about that. So your success is our mission. That is something that we are driven by every single day to grow, improve, and succeed. That's something that we work very hard on. All of us at CONNSTEP want to meet that goal. So as we mentioned earlier, CONNSTEP is part of a national network with 51 MEPs, and we rely on each other. Just the other day, we had a call from our neighboring Massachusetts MEP that called us to help somebody in our state that also has a branch in Massachusetts. So we're constantly working together. Sometimes we rely on them for other services or, different resources as well in order to get the job done and, help you with your solution. But CONNSTEP also works with the Connecticut Office of Manufacturing and Connecticut's Chief Manufacturing Officer, Paul Lavoie. So together we work with associations throughout the state, and we try to braid together a solution, and it could be for services, programs, funding, whatever your challenges, we will try to make an impact to solve that. Next slide, please. So our mission is obviously to help Connecticut manufacturing reach your goals by serving as a trusted advisor and resources for all things manufacturing. But we aim to be your trusted advisor for all things, in your business in manufacturing. And it could be for technology, and it could be for, and Rick will be able to tell you a little bit more later, and Miles, about some of our, more up and coming type of services that we provide in HR, as well as audits and for ISO and AS 9100. But, what we also do is we work with small and medium-sized manufacturers. Our expertise is in manufacturing and small businesses. So we have a lot of the resources that can really help you in this area. So because we work with the Office of Manufacturing as well, we also are knowledgeable about some funding opportunities and some grant funding that we can help you with as well. Next slide, please. So we are here to be your partner. Our role is to help you with resources in order to help you with your unique challenges. Running a small manufacturing company might change from year to year, day to day, with different types of regulations and things like that. And we're here to help. We're on top of that. And so we are more than happy to come out and talk to you about what your needs are, both on the short term, immediate, as well as building a roadmap for you to grow and thrive as well. So next slide, please. So here are some of the CONNSTEP impacts that we have in 2023. And, I think that the numbers speak for themselves, that we do make an impact in the manufacturing sector in Connecticut. And, I think that this is something that we can help you on an individual basis with our company as well. Next slide, please. And then with that, I would like to also say that we are here to be a partner for your success. Our role is to help you with various resources. We have an entire team that's dedicated to working with you to help you design a roadmap and a plan in order to solve your toughest challenges with manufacturing and or businesses as well. And we are happy to do that. My colleague, Rick Mullins, is up next, and he can give you more information about some of the experts that we have on board that can help you with your needs.
Good morning, everyone. And thank you, Bernice, for that kind introduction. The CONNSTEP way has been authored in a fashion to serve you by collaboration, measuring our impact at every engagement, and helping your company transform. That's how we achieve our second mission, your success, in achieving your objectives and your goals. Let me take you all through a quick summary of some of the 6 areas that we contribute to. Next slide, please. In this arena, there are a number of services that we provide, and I'm not going to hit every one of these today, but I'm going to come very close to touching every one in one way, shape, or form. And our latest addition to the family has been the energy services. We've been around for over 25 years. And in that time, we've listened to you, we've listened to NIST to build a series of products and services along with subject matter experts, internal and external, to meet these goals and objectives. You can't be everything to everybody, but we have the resources to do so. And on that team, we have people with 5 to 30 plus years experience, and usually people who have been in the field, worked in that discipline, have firsthand knowledge. Whether it be business growth or energy services or quality or cybersecurity, you can be ensured that the engagement will be with an instructor, a consultant that has this experience that we will oversee and measure their performance along with the goals and objectives that have been set for these programs. Next slide, please. Business growth. We all want to see our businesses grow. We want to increase our customer base, and we want to identify new market opportunities. We want to do that in measured ways, in systemic ways, so that we don't necessarily run into hurdles from too fast growth. This takes professionals with experience and knowledge in a multitude of areas to make this a success. Next slide, please. And in the business growth area, there are a number of services that we provide. One of the consultants you may have run into over the time has been Jack Crane. He's been with us a number of years, very well experienced in entrepreneurial growth, startups, and so forth. Our goals in these roles and activities and services are to help you increase the growth of your company, get a good ROI, improve profitability, and get to the new markets before your competitors do. They involve all aspects of business development. Now, you see these topics here. These are just meant to be elements to help you think about what are the issues you need to be addressing. Call us, talk to us, engage us so that we can define these services better for your organization and to meet your organizational goals. Next slide, please. Continuous improvement and lean strategies. I myself have been around in the industry for well over 30 years. And if we look at the transition in quality and continuous improvement, we all know that ISO 9000 in the mid-90s became a very hot topic. We retired Mill Standard 4898 and 45208, 9858 and 45208 for the ISO standards. And they continue to evolve. And our consultants are all certified and prepared to know the latest changes and updates to the standard. We can help you with setting up your internal audits. We can conduct audits and so forth. We can help you with identifying the appropriate continuous improvement tool for your team. And we can help you lean out your processes. Next slide, please. Continuous improvement. Well, these are topics that you've run across over the years numerous times, whether they be in ISO, Lean, Six Sigma, CI, 5S, change management, cell design, Kaizen, Kanban, lean office. You know, lean office is a part of the business we often forget about. When we're working out on the shop floor, what's going on to support that shop floor activity? And how can we improve process flow between accounting and operations and marketing, sales, et cetera, the engineering. These are all things that can be part of a Kaizen type event. Lean office is certainly one of them. And plant layout, you know, whether it be a whole new facility or duplicating a line and understanding, is the current line meeting performance criteria? Let's not replicate a bad habit. Let's replicate something that has been improved and is going to get us to the next level. And some of that new equipment you may be purchasing may be actually capable of performing at higher levels. So we've got to balance those lines up. Setup reduction. We've run into this question oftentimes. How do I get the setup time reduced? Well, that takes a good analysis of the existing system and identifying the future system, implementing that and measuring its performance. Supply chain development. You know, we have a number of tier one suppliers right here in Connecticut that have a very strong infrastructure in the supply chain. I think you probably recently heard that the Navy has identified Groton as the submarine capital of the world. Electric Boat, General Dynamics, Pratt & Whitney, the list goes on and on. All have a large number of suppliers in the area, and we can help you identify future suppliers, potential suppliers, or refine that base. And that should be part of your quality management system in your ISO management system anyways. Total productive maintenance. Keeping the machines up to date so that they run when you expect them to run, keeping your tooling sharp such that it's cutting at the rate and speeds and feeds that are required. The training within industry and value stream mapping, whether it be in the inside, in the office, or out on the shop floor, all valuable contributions to your CI, continuous improvement initiative. Next slide, please. Cybersecurity and compliance. This is being driven harder and harder by the DoD right now on clients and suppliers, first tier and below. We are well positioned with one of our consultants, particularly Anna Mumford, who recently got certified as a level 1 auditor, as well as is currently enrolled in the level 2 program, which will be launched in the first quarter of this year by the feds. Next slide, please. What are some of the services in this area? Well, we know that you may have already been through CMMC 1. That was the initial requirements. The standards have somewhat changed, and we're approaching the implementation of CMC 2. This is something you need to be thinking about because it has additional requirements. Some of the things people don't think about is multi-factor authentication. There's a cost involved with that. There's a cost to your business. You need, and as well as all the systems that will be interfacing with that. You need to be thinking about that and plan for it. Compliance to the NIST standard procedure 800-171. A good way to take a look at that compliance is to do a gap analysis and have plans when you have a incident so that you can respond rapidly, effectively, and demonstrate to your clients that you have the situation under control. That's all part of that cybersecurity activity. Next slide, please. Quality management and certifications. Well, I will tell you that our consultants all have a background in quality management as they do continuous improvement. Whether it be setting up your internal audit process, whether it be executing an independent audit, we are not a certifying body, but we can help you if you haven't had an independent eye, look at your quality system and give you some recommendations. You know, the best thing to do is use multiple resources to improve your system. If you do the same thing the same way you've been doing it for the same amount of time, all you can expect are the same results. That's not what we're about. We're about looking at how does the system operate today? What are those benchmarks? Where and how can we improve them? And how can we mutually work together to make those improvements effective rapidly? Next slide, please. Quality management. Here are some of the tools, whether it be AS9100, standard ISO 16949, 13485, 17025. We have consultants and advisors on our team that are all competent, capable, certified, and ready to support these issues, as well as their current changes coming to the standard. Now, for your quality management meetings, this is very important. Make sure in your quality management meetings, this is a gold nugget, that you are looking at the standard and updating the leadership team in the organization about potential changes. Potential, I say, not actual, potential, so that you are prepared to make the necessary changes timely and in partnership with CONNSTEP and effectively so that when you do come to that recertification audit or the third-party audit, follow-on audit, surveillance audit, you can demonstrate that you're engaged in the standard as well as applying it on the shop floor to your products. OSHA certification, NADCAP certification all fall within this area as well. Next slide, please. Technology and automation. We've heard the stories about Industry 4.0, Industry 3.0, Industry 2.0. We're also now hearing stories about Industry 4.0 adopting artificial intelligence. And believe me, our master resource here, Anthony DiCiaccio, is looking at that very carefully as we prepare to keep you informed about Industry 4.0 initiatives and how it's being implemented with sensor technology and production modules that you're currently using on the shop floor and how you can enhance that. Let's also remember when we're looking at this, many of you out there need to look at your ITS infrastructure. Do you have the appropriate speed, memory, and resources to collect this data and analyze this data? And maybe you want to manage your production line from a remote application. Maybe we learned during COVID that you've got to be prepared for scaled back endeavor to support production. These are all things to think about when looking at technology and automation. Next slide, please. There are a number of topics that we can discuss when it comes to technology automation. Industry 4.0, artificial intelligence, technology acceleration, evaluating your current technology and doing a market assessment of what is out there that might improve your technology, technology-driven market intelligence, and technology scouting. Who else out there is doing what? How are they doing it? CONNSTEP can help you with all those resources in identifying What should be my next step? Your long-term plan. You should all have a strategic plan that you look at every 6 months and update a business plan similarly, where you discuss and identify and consider what are some of the technological changes and automation we ought to consider in the office and in the shop. Next slide, please. Environmental health and safety. Environmental health and safety is a very important part of your business model today, and this costs you money if you don't think about it, because you have the potential to be fined by state OSHA, by the feds, on a simple walkthrough. And I've seen this happen, and these fines can be upwards, usually they start around $7,000 to $10,000. So they can become very, very costly. Simple things like, do you have the proper tape on the floor? Do you have the proper handrails in place? Are your people wearing PPE where they need to be wearing PPE? We all know the glass story. If it says in the procedure, the operator should be wearing safety glasses, they better be wearing them when they come and do the audit. No different here when we're looking at environmental health and safety. Let's catch some of these things. Oh, also steel-toed boots or protective footwear could be another. Let's go to the next slide, please. This is all about risk mitigation, helping to reduce costs, helping to improve profitability. You may not even think about that right now, but if you have an audit and you do get fined, believe me, it goes right to the bottom line. So call us and talk to us about our environmental site assessments and reporting. You have cutting fluids, you have wastewater, you have hazardous materials. Do you have material safety data sheets in the right places, accessible to people? What is your emergency response? Has it been tested? Have you practiced it? Are you prepared for OSHA inspections? How might you collaborate with that inspector when they come through so that you get them through the organization, identifying your successes rather than your discrepancies or failures or challenges? Try to think proactively on this, and it'll help you reduce costs and improve profitability. Next slide, please. Workforce development. Workforce development is another area that CONNSTEP has a great amount of skill in, whether it be identifying future talent, helping prepare for that future talent, preparing them educationally in lean principles, quality, and some management skills as well. Think of CONNSTEP when you think workforce development. We all have the challenge today of the baby boomers retiring and the millennials coming into the workforce. We have 5 generations in the workforce. We have remote operations, hybrid operations. These all cause challenges to the workforce development arena, and we need to be thinking about those, preparing for them. And again, in your management reviews, in your quality management system, are you talking about these things? Let's be proactive and not reactive. It does cost money when you no longer have somebody that can operate that machine and the machine goes down, and now you're trying to train somebody at the same time. Maybe you want some redundancy in areas. We can help you with identifying those areas of criticality and support and redundancy. Next slide, please. Continuous improvement, quality essentials. These are continuous improvement, champion certification, and the quality essentials program, the TWI. These are all open enrollment programs that we call public programs now, and they've been advertised. Our program that just kicked off, Supplier Boot Camp, was sold out, and we had people begging to get in. We're going to be offering a CICC coming up in the spring, and we'll be doing something with our cybersecurity as well. Register now. Go to our website and register for these programs now, because they will sell out. And we try to optimize the learning opportunities in with good educational content and delivery. We will not exceed the participation in the classroom so that you get the most effective learning in the process. Next, one last thing, human resource activity here. Let's talk about that for a moment. When have you updated your procedures? You do have to do it under your quality management system for sure, right? You've got to look at them, your quality manual, your procedures, and your work instructions. When's the last time we've really had an independent review? Are we hitting all the appropriate points? Are they up to date? Are your employees getting the necessary training and HIPAA and other requirements that they should be getting? And do you have a plan to execute that timely with your employees? Next slide, please. Emerging services. I just want to take 1 minute break here because I would shortly like to introduce my colleague, Miles Herrick, on this, but I think we have a slide or two to go. Um, Emerging services are our supply chain management activity. I have 3 people today down in New London at a conference on supply chain for the wind energy arena. Human resources, um, again, constantly changing, need to keep these skills up to date. Think about filling critical roles. Do you have a bench? Do you have a bench of candidates that you can go to? Crazy things happen where employees have to be out for an extended period of time. Do you have someone to fill the gap? Energy services is the latest arena that we have engaged in. We have a 2-year grant funded by the DOE through the DECD and Paul Lavoie's office. And we're working with UConn and CCAT on this as well to help provide manufacturers additional resources and energy and energy services and the like. Call us to learn more. Next slide. I'd like to introduce my colleague, Miles Herrick, now on the CONNSTEP way. This has been an important evolution in the success of our delivery to you, our clients. Miles.
Great. Thank you, Rick. Appreciate the warm introduction. Good morning, everyone. Like Rick just said, my name is Miles Herrick. I'm the Director of Business Development and Sales. Prior to CONNSTEP, I worked about 20 years in manufacturing. So this is my first stop out a little bit out adjacent to manufacturing. My entire career has been in sales or sales leadership. But over my career, I have gotten exposure to some insight to or experienced a lot of the pain points that our clients bring to us today. And really, we talk about what Rick just talked about are the services that we deliver to our clients on a regular basis. Before I get into the CONNSTEP way and the sales process and the go-to-market strategy, I wanted to share a couple quick stories of Rick just mentioned all the services they provide, the features and benefits and how they can impact your business. I want to bring it down to some real life stories that I personally was involved in during my tenure here at CONNSTEP that for me, not only impacted the business that we helped, it impacted the people that work there. And that to me at the bottom line is really what CONNSTEP is about. It's about the mission, helping customers be successful, helping our manufacturers be successful, and however they define that success. But at the end of the day, it's about helping people, right? So this is a story that starts earlier in my tenure that still resonates with me today. This is a client that we went to visit in Torrington. They have about 150 employees that work there. And the mission of this client visit was to conduct and complete our NIST survey. And I'll get into what the NIST survey means a little bit later on. But essentially, it's a requirement by NIST and the MEP to kind of prove that we're doing what we say we're doing as the MEP Center. And it really shows with impacts and numbers and some of the numbers that Bernice mentioned earlier in the presentation to show that, you know, your tax dollars are going to work and this is how it's working. So I get into talking to the client, and we had finished a ISO quality project. And so we get through the survey and we start asking the questions, you know, how was the project and how did it impact your business with sales, new sales, cost savings, things like that. We get to the point of asking, like we do in every survey, that's the carbon copy every time we do a survey with our clients. And we asked, the project that we completed with you, and keep in mind these projects closed probably anywhere from 6 to 12 months ago. If we were not, did it help you retain jobs? I mean, if seeing that we were successful with this project, how many jobs did it help you retain? And then the 2 people that are on the client side that were in that meeting kind of looked at each other and they really gave it some thought and they started talking amongst themselves and they came back with an answer. They said 50 jobs retained. And again, we were in there trying to do the mission of completing the survey. We still had about 7 or 8 more questions they had to get answered and solved and they kind of get out of their way so they could go on with their day. So we said 50, that's great. We took the information down. We moved on to the rest of the questions of the survey. On my ride back to the office, that's when it really started to hit me that I started to think about the answers to those questions. And it was a very successful project. We got other impacts and other metrics with retained sales, cost savings, and some of the other things we talked about earlier in the presentation. And so overall, it was a very successful project that got some real life impacts. But I started thinking about the 50 employees. And I thought to myself, well, 50 employees, if this project wasn't successful, we're helping them maintain their accreditation. We're helping them maintain their customer base, right? Because if they're not ISO certified, then they lose a good portion of their business, which is where that would translate to loss of employees. And that's 50 people that essentially you could draw the line to saying that we are helping keep employed. That's a third of their workforce. I mean, never mind thinking about the impact on the business, but think about, and this is where it started to really resonate with me when I started thinking about my career. And there was a point in my career where I was laid off, and I am in my personal family. I'm the only source of income, and that could have been the situation for 50 employees. It's not just about the individuals. It's not just about the company, and all those things are important, of course. But it resonated with me because I've been there before, and it's a terrible position to be in. It's extremely stressful, and I like to feel good about the fact that CONNSTEP helped the company be successful. It was a successful project. It has sustainability, but it also impacts the fact that the business gets to continue, retain those sales, retain those customers, and retain those employees. I mean, 50 employees, you're talking about, if they're all local, you're talking about impacting a community. And the stress that family and that family dynamic might have to go to. So that's one story I like to tell because it really resonated with me. It's a true testament of the delivery of the project, the success of the project, and what we bring, not just from a metric standpoint, but from a human standpoint to the state of Connecticut and to our clients. The other story I want to tell is somewhat similar. It's a story that was more recent in time. It's about a month and a half ago, 2 months ago. And it's a small company in Prospect. They're a 10-person shop, which is the kind of companies we work with all the time. It's a big part. It is the big part of our mission, but it's also our sweet spot. And this same type of scenario. I was in there doing a survey and trying to figure out how successful the project was and getting all these metrics and impacts and things like that. It was another ISO quality project that we worked with them on. And I was sitting across from the business owner, and we got to the question of retained sales. So the quality project helps them maintain their certification. It helps them obviously be lean and efficient. And said, well, retain sales, what does that look like? And the owner, she said, well, I guess if you could draw the line to say that if we lost our accreditation, we lost our certification, 100% of our business would eventually go away if we could not recover. So I know that the odds of getting to that disastrous potential is limited, but I also think that that is real life potential. And it, again, another feel good story for me was something I was personally involved in, where walking away from that is that we, maybe in a small part, but in a part of that, we are helping them maintain their business, maintain their customers, and it's 100% of what they do. It's 100% of what they do. And if you're interested in more stories like that, we have plenty of success stories off of our website. We post them on social media constantly. We're very proud of the impacts we have with this state. We're very proud with the impacts we have with our clients. The vast majority of our business is with repeat clients. So we know that what we're doing works. We know that what we're doing resonates with our customers. Otherwise, obviously, they would not keep coming back to us. So from here, I want to transition to the sales process or the go-to-market strategy. So now we have learned what the MEP Center is and who CONNSTEP is. Rick did a very nice job explaining all of our services, so we know at this point what we do. And I'm going to talk to you about how we do it. So with my team, we have the state split up into 4 territories. And I have 4 BDAs, or 4 business development advisors, that manage those territories and manage the clients and the prospects that within those territories. And they are the boots on the ground. They are the ones doing the face-to-face meetings, visiting our clients, and it's the delivery team that also is the boots on the ground, with them getting into the facilities and delivering the project. So the process that I want to talk about really starts with the business development team. And I'm talking at the phase of post lead generation. So let's just say, as I walk you through this scenario, that the lead has already been generated. There's some general interest, at least from a client or a prospect, that comes into CONNSTEP. And it would be up to the next step would really, or the first step would be for the business development advisor to schedule a discovery meeting. Needs analysis meeting, we sometimes here internally call them our D1 meetings. And what that meeting looks like, 9.5 out of 10 times, they're face-to-face, in-person meetings at the client's facility. That's really important to us. We want to present a personalized and customized approach to each one of our clients, because each one of our clients are unique in their own way. We don't have, other than our public courses, we don't have a lot of carbon copy projects, other than courses and maybe IQAs, but even those become unique from time to time depending on the client. IQA, internal quality audits. So the client will go in, the BDA will go in with the client at their facility, and this is not your typical sales process. This is not we're not selling a product off the shelf. We're not selling features and benefits and price points. For the BDAs to do their job well, they're actually listening more than they're talking. Believe it or not, from a salesperson, they're actually listening more than they're talking. So they're in there asking a bunch of questions. They're being very inquisitive, and with their experience, they're guiding that customer or that client down a path to get them to open up about their pain points. What are the 2 to 3 big things that keep you up at night that really impact your business, or the things that you think might impact your business? Who do you turn to when you don't know where the answers are, right? That is our role. That is the role of anyone at CONNSTEP, to be the trusted advisor, but specifically for the business development advisors, and of course the delivery people, because they are also boots on the ground, getting in there and talking to our clients every day. So they go through this process of asking a lot of questions, understanding their pain points. They're not there to sell you anything. They're not there to sell you anything. Now, by the end of the conversation, I'm sure with our experience and what we learned over the years, we will start to talk out potential solutions, but we're not going to sit there and tell you exactly what we need to do, because what we need to do next after that first discovery meeting is then we need to bring that information back, and we kind of start to ask the questions with the clients. Okay, we understand the pain point. We want to move forward. It sounds like the priority is to do a lean awareness training, for an example. Money aside, because we haven't talked about money yet. We haven't talked about pricing yet. Money aside, assuming that our deliverables and our approach are something that works for you, what's the time frame here to start the project? That's a really critical question in this process. Sometimes it's immediately. I hear sometimes it's yesterday. We needed it done this already. Sometimes it's, well, I'm getting towards the end of my year. I need to set my budget for next year. Maybe it's Q1 of the calendar year. So we work with, obviously, our clients and say, okay, if that's when you want to start, then we'll find a subject matter expert that can start within that time frame. So we're bringing that information back to Rick and his group, who heads up our delivery, as you guys know now. And we say, this is the information we've gathered. This is the time that they want to start. Who do we have on our roster that could deliver the project and meet the customer's needs and expectations? Rick and his group will look at, we have internal resources about all those services we just heard about. We have some internal resources that we could use. We have some external resources that we could bring upon too. All certified and ready to go and to deliver a really great project for you. So we then will say, okay, here's your subject matter expert. We then will say to the client, all right, we got a person assigned to us. We want to have now a second meeting with the client. Okay, so that's really kind of step 3. We have what we call the SME meeting, a subject matter expert meeting. This meeting is really driven by the client and the subject matter expert. And now we're doing a deep dive into the pain point, or maybe it's two pain points. We're not typically talking about a whole host of product or services that we can provide at this point. We're past that stage. So we're deep diving into that one or two pain points, right? And throughout that process, throughout that conversation, we are verbally in stages, actually verbally talking about a scope of work. Here's what we've done in the past. Here's what's worked with similar customers in similar situations. And we're telling you what our approach is, what our deliverables are. Typically that meeting, especially if it's a new client, we'll do a plant tour so we can get a real feel for the operation. And we have trained eyes to look out there while we're on the factory floor to say, to pick up maybe concerns of ours as we see things. And we kind of bring that to the surface as well to see if there's something else we need to be tackling throughout this process as well. But assuming that that all sounds good, the next step in the process would be that we would develop an actual written scope of work, which we would convert to a proposal. And then the BDA, or the Business Development Advisor, would deliver that proposal to the client. More often than not, that's done in person. So we just make sure we're on the same page with the approach, the deliverables, the price point, before we move forward with the client. And sometimes a lot of questions come up at that point. So you need, our clients need to be committed to the price. They need to be committed to the time. They need to be committed to the resource allocation. We're your helping hand. We're not going to do all the work for you. So there's a lot of commitment from the client side to work with us on these proposals. But as we go through this process, you'll definitely see the value in that price point and in what we deliver, right? So then after that, we're assuming at this point that the proposal's been signed off on, everything looks good. So you have those commitments. And then the project will be kicked off. So we'll have a project kicked off. A lot of our projects, especially if they're on site, are several days and they can carry over for several months, depending on the project. But that day one, or that for at least that first couple hours of day one, is a project kickoff. That's delivered by your subject matter expert at this point. The BDA at this point kind of moves on to other clients and other opportunities, and hopefully closing some new business. Then the milestones and the cadence is determined between the client and the subject matter experts to complete all those milestones or tasks and subtasks. We get to a midpoint of the project, so approximately 50% of our way into the project, and the BDA will be doing the reach out for a midpoint, what we call a midpoint check-in, just a check-in. Hey, how's the project going? How's your chemistry going with the subject matter expert? Any issues that we need to be aware of. And we typically ask the question at this point, if the project were closed today, do you feel like the CONNSTEP is doing you the service that you expected? And would you recommend us to other clients? All is good there. We finished the project, the subject matter expert finished the projects, lets the business development advisor know. And then we do a project closeout meeting. That's a little more involved in the midpoint check-in. That typically takes anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes. It could be either in person or virtual. But either way, we do a project closeout. At that point, we're getting did we meet expectations? At this point, do we have any impacts or metrics that we could capture? Typically not, because the project hasn't been sustainable at this point yet, but sometimes maybe. And we get a feel for how overall CONNSTEP did in the process. Are there any improvements that we could do to, because we're not perfect, we love to learn and get better at what we do, continuous improvement. We do that internally as well as we teach it. And that really is kind of the final point of the project. And then I mentioned in my stories earlier that we do this survey process. And what that looks like is about 6 to 12 months after the project is closed, it's a NIST requirement or an MEP requirement that we kind of show. We show the work we have done, and we're kind of proving that the work we've done is satisfactory to the standards that we are held against. So that survey is done after the project is closed, about 6 to 12 months later, and we come in and say, hey, we did this project about 6 to 12 months prior. How's it sustaining? How are the impacts? Have you hired anybody? Have you retained jobs, sales, cost savings, new investments, and things like that that we look at? And that's what actually calculates all the way up to those numbers that Bernice shared in the very beginning, and the impacts that we've had at the state level, and then of course the impacts on a metric level at the national level from the MEP Center. Throughout this process, it is just critically important that the delivery team, the sales team, is collaborating very well with the delivery team, because otherwise we might not have a successful project, and those communication lines have to always be open. And especially if there's issues that are coming up, it's actually the BDA's responsibility to own that client relationship and address those issues accordingly if they do. Luckily for us, what we do is very well. We're very good at it, so we don't have a ton of issues that come up, but they do happen. And throughout this process, we mentioned this earlier, but I want to reiterate again, it's critically important to our process and to the client that we become your trusted advisor along the way. And that, especially if you're a new client, that builds up over time. Okay, you're not going to get that instantaneous respect right away that we are your trusted advisor, but over time, we would like to be your trusted advisor. And that's a term that kind of gets thrown out there to maybe a little bit of a buzzword. But for us, what that means is if you are having trouble sleeping because you have a pain point that you can't figure out, the next morning, literally could give us a call because that's where you think you should be going because you don't know where else to turn, right? So you give us a call because we're your trusted advisor. And one of the greatest things about us becoming your trusted advisor is that we, with our network of the MEP centers, we could really help you navigate that manufacturing ecosystem. There's no other consulting service that does that part of that function as well as us. So that means we could help you make connections with other MEP centers that might, or even connect with us to help you advise on things that maybe is a one-off to us. We could help you with resources with the Department of Labor, DECD, Chief Manufacturing Office, funding, like Bernice said in the beginning. We have a great connection with some of our partners that help administer funding, and we would help you navigate those waters so that we can take advantage of all the resources that are out there in the state of Connecticut, and deliver the best solution to you, even if it's not us delivering that solution. So I guess the slide changed because I need to speed up a little bit. Anyway, that's the process. I'm sure now that you've heard from Bernice, myself, and Rick, you're chomping at the bit to become partners with us. And if you are, it's really simple. That's great. And it's really simple to get in touch with us. There's all kinds of ways you get in touch with us. It's very easy. But I want to point out this one specific tool that's on our website. That's really a nice, powerful tool for us. If you go to CONNSTEP.org, if you go to the top panel of our webpage, you'll see About Us. If you click on the About Us and hit the drop-down menu, you'll see a link to your trusted advisor map. You'll get an interactive map on your website and on your screen that looks like this, the screenshot we have, and it's very simple to navigate. Those are the color codings are where our territories are split up between all 4 of the BDAs. If you search in the search box your town, you'll get an instant bubble of the contact information and who your BDA is, or you could hover over the town on the map with your cursor and you'll get the same results as far as who your BDA is and the contact information. You give us a call, give us an email. At this point, I'm going to introduce Tyler Scott, our marketing manager, and turn it over to him. Tyler?
Thank you very much, Miles, and thank you everybody for participating today. Can we just get the next slide for me, please? So I just want to go briefly about some of the resources CONNSTEP has to offer. If you go to our website and go to the manufacturing resources section, right at the top, we have a wealth of knowledge to help manufacturing businesses thrive. If you want to stay informed with us, you can go here to stay informed in our updates and insights section. Keeps you up to date on CONNSTEP and local industry news. We also have downloads and materials in there. Those are on-demand resources from CONNSTEP, like white papers, guides, videos, and webinars like these and the prior ones from the past. If you're looking to become a third-party resource provider, I think I saw a comment in the chat regarding that. This is where you can go as well. We have an application listed there. You can fill that out, and then you can connect with us directly, and we go through that process with you, so you can actually become a provider and help the ecosystem as well. If you're looking to drive innovation, you can go to this section as well. There's capstone projects. If that's where you can leverage student talent actually to address some of your challenges, maybe work on some projects for you there, or even just some challenges. If you're looking to navigate the entrepreneurial ecosystem, you can also find this in our resource section there. You can check out that page to discover some valuable resources and also the support network that goes through there. Some other resources to mention in this section. One partner that helps out with us or helps the ecosystem as well is called Forge. They are local. They are a nonprofit that bridges the gaps between innovators and the local supply chain. So they're a wonderful resource to utilize, and you can access their services by finding that in our resources section. If you're looking to embrace technology, we have a technology partners page where you can check out some of the cutting edge partners that we have and some of their solutions, where if you're interested in some of their services, we can connect you directly with them as well and help facilitate that interaction. You'll also notice in the resources section, there's a manufacturing skills for Connecticut site. This is great. It provides a forum for K-12 educators and employers to collaborate and problem solve. It also has a bunch of resources on there, no matter which age or where you are in the journey. So go check out the resource page and see what wealth of knowledge we have to offer, really on demand at your fingertips. Next page. Next slide, please. I also just wanted to mention really quickly, ConX Marketplace. We helped facilitate that. It's an online platform that connects U.S. manufacturers in a single, accurate, and searchable supply chain solution. So you can connect with manufacturers from the state and in the nation, actually. You can market your company's capabilities to the ecosystem, so you can help get your company out there and grow and find new opportunities to help grow your company. So if you want to learn more, reach out to us. Bernice is a great resource on that end. She'll be able to help you out any step of the way there. Next slide, please. If you want to learn more about CONNSTEP, this page was mentioned as well. Go check out our case studies. Go see what the real life result and some real testimonials are that really discuss the work directly that we do and some of the benefits of it. If you want to keep up to date with us as well and learn more about CONNSTEP, I urge you to sign up for our newsletter. It goes out monthly, and we feature case studies, blogs, upcoming trainings, and events around the ecosystem, not just ours, from our partners, and even news that they would like to share. So go to that QR code or the link in the chat and sign up for the newsletter if you want to see anything else coming up. Next slide, please. And this one I'm most excited about. It's a very new service. What we want to do is we really want to be here to help. So any way we can help you, we've created a utilize page. It's a utility page. Basically, all it does is here to help you. This help page is a shortcut to getting help from CONNSTEP. We don't want you to have to navigate when you're really in a jam or you need us and you want to call us, you want to reach out to somebody, help out with a problem. Whatever your pain point is, whatever is keeping you up at night, you can visit this page. It connects you directly to a form. You can call us. A new feature that we've really added that's really exciting is you can just text us. If you don't have time to send an email, you don't have time to a phone call, just take our phone number and text what your problem is. It'll go directly to us. We'll connect you to the appropriate BDA in your service area, and they'll help you every step of the way. If you want to give us a little bit more preliminary information, you can text MFG help to that number, and it'll prompt you just ask a couple questions so we know how to properly facilitate your questions and answers. It's a great resource. No matter how you want to use it, it's really here to help. So next slide, please. So that's really it. CONNSTEP's here to help. We want to be your trusted advisor. You can reach out to us by phone, email, our website, our forums, text us, anything, any way you can think of, we're here. So feel free to reach out or email us directly for any help you're looking for. And if there's any other questions, feel free to send them to us now, or just reach out to us, like I said, through some of these avenues, and we'll be here to help you. Thank you, everybody, for your participation today. Lauren, if we don't have any additional questions in the chat, we'll give you back your time and hope you have a great lunch today.